You watch me when I make that song. All these possibilities, I feel it deep inside me. You're everything and more to me.
Hey everyone, this is Kendra Live. We are back and into the groove. That was a little slice of Rapture that was written by myself and Ronnie Chico de Chico, who is from Pittsburgh. And someone who is also from Pittsburgh is my badass guest today, Tom Zames. So let's bring him in.
Kendra,
Tom, wave to the camera. Hey, mom, I'm on TV.
what's up, Mom? How's it
um,
going, my friend?
so yeah, so it's going well. We're moving and grooving over here. Yeah, so I wanted to. I just want to introduce you to the the followers, the viewers. Um, Tom and I have been friends for how long? Like a couple of years, a few years now.
Few years.
We're a few years, yeah. We're both very aligned. We both come from the mother effer house of belief and alignment, and I really wanted to bring you on, honestly. And this is not to inflate your head, but I wanted to bring you on as like the first guest because we want to set the bar a little bit on the echelon side. So, but once again, that's not to inflate your ego.
No, I manifested that. How's that
You
if I
manifest
share?
that.
I
Yeah.
manifested that. When you said you were having a podcast, I created the thought in my head of being your first guest.
Well, right on,
We
dude.
we manifested it
Surf's up.
together.
We sure did. Yeah, surf's up. Um, so I wanted to really just lay the foundation and I'll let you int- uh, introduce yourself. And I know, and I personally, when I get this question, I loathe it. Like, oh, tell me about yourself, because it's like you told your story so many times that it's like I'd rather record it on my device and just play it. But I'm just gonna toss that question to you right now and just like tell the viewers about your not just about like your if you want to go into like, oh, I was born and then this happened, but I think what we really want to get into today is to just zero in and zone in on the growth process and how far you've come during the past like couple years through this whole pandemic or whatever, or awakening days.
Sure, sure. So it's been a long journey that I've been on, actually. I'd say in my mid 20s, late 20s, I started reading books and started learning that we have control over these things that seemingly we didn't have any control over. And I just love and sharing, learning and sharing. And then in 2020, we had a massive situation, obviously, that we weren't prepared for. And it sprung me into action. And I had to uh, come alive and do lives and talk about this stuff and bring it to the people because serious stuff's taking place. People need to understand it. And we all need to find ourselves and come from the heart. Come from the heart because serious shit's going on. People need to know it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to where do you want me to start though?
Well, I love that you said like spring into action, because especially in these days, people are so hyper focused on like, the whole pronoun game, but no one's focusing on the verb. No one's focusing on like, can you take action? Are you a result provider? Like, can you make a change? Can you make a difference? And no matter like what you identify as, could you put that into motion? Can you put yourself into motion? And then therefore could you, spring into action? So I
Yeah.
love that you just said those words, because that's manifestation 101 right there.
Right. It's all about speaking up, right? We all have a message. We all have a story to share, and we need to share it, right? And we're seeing things take place in society that just aren't right, things that don't make sense. And we've been brainwashed and belittled into keeping our mouths shut. And that's how we ended up in this place, right? That's how everything happened because we were shamed into keeping our mouths shut via political correctness, and we were bullied. We were bullied. I was silenced. We all were silenced with all this stuff. It started, what, like 20, 30 years ago? And then, Obama became president, and then you couldn't say anything about him because he was black. Because he's black, you couldn't criticize things about this guy, right? So you could see we were shamed into not saying anything, which has led us to where we're at now. Everything that happened in 2020 was a result of us as a collective as being silenced and shamed. And we all need to start opening our mouths again. We need to start being real again. The society is so fake. Everything is fake. It's a fake world, fake money, fake systems. The financial system's fake. The medical system's fake. It's a sham. Everything's a sham. We've been lied to about everything. We've been lied to about everything. Everything.
Well, and I've had my share of or my experiences of censorship, because during the COVID days, I had well just a little bit before then, I was introduced to, a group of managers, and then that carried on into the COVID times and everything. And when I was awakening, and like I've been very intuitive my whole life, and I've like said things, and people have looked at me like, huh? Like, hello, like they've looked at me like freaking nuts. But now it's our time. But
It's our time.
yeah, it's our time. But during one particular um, experience that I had was when the presidential debates were happening, uh, between Kamala and Pence, and then like Trump and Joe Biden. I posted this question, and I said, why isn't child trafficking one of the topics on the debate stage? And the managers that I had were they crucified me for that. They said like, oh, take that down, blah blah blah. They said, and then when I was getting some um, pushback, just because people at that time weren't as awakened as they are now. um, I they brought it to my attention. They're like, yeah, you're getting so much pushback, and I'm just like, well, I can't control what people say. And then what they said to me, they said, well, yeah, you can control what you say. And I said, it was just a question. Why isn't child trafficking a topic on the debate stage? And also, when it came time for patriotic holidays like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Veterans Day, and I would post the American flag, I was told to take that down. So
Yeah.
I had my share of censorship, and also called an embarrassment because I wouldn't get the vaccine. So, and it's just like, I think you're the embarrassment because you're not doing anything for me. So you're the true embarrassment.
Little did I know
Um,
that you're the embarrassment. That's the truth.
yeah, but it's like, if anybody is trying to quell you or stifle you or put you into a box, that's just called short-sightedness. No matter how much you want to slice and dice it, because as much as we can be on different sides of the spectrum, we all can come back to one thing, and that is don't mess with the kids, don't mess with our homes, and don't mess with our gas tanks.
Exactly, right? It's amazing that the whole thing with the kids is getting so much backlash, right? It's getting backlash. So you can see what's
Yeah.
going on there. So it's like, what's going on, right? And we've got this sick thing going on with the kids, and you know, without getting too graphic, um, really bad stuff's happening, has been happening forever, and some people don't want to admit that it's happening, and they're turning a blind eye to it because it's excruciating, right? Who wants to, you know, I don't know. Every time I learn something new, you get this sick feeling in your stomach, right? You get this sick feeling, and but you also know it's true, right? So you know, there's a lot of bad things happening right now, and people don't want to see it. They're afraid to see it. Um, they think it's attached to this. The news is telling them not to look there, right? And it's time everybody just returns to their heart and their intuition. Um, but, you know, this is ridiculous with the child trafficking, and they're trying to downplay it and pretend like it's not real. It's very real. People, you need to wake up. There's bad
Yeah.
people in this world, and you know, that's just the truth of the matter. Is it true? Is what I always come back to. You're getting pushback, but is what you said true? That's all that matters. Truth.
Truth, yeah, and that in truth is what is breaking the box office right now with the Sound of Freedom movie that is just taking the box office and taking the world by storm. I saw it last night. I thought
Yeah.
it was I thought it was compelling, riveting. It's definitely spread awareness. It was informative in the way that it was written. It told Tim Ballard's story so well. Jim Caviezel was, you know, a beacon of filmmaking, like masterfulness. And yeah, and thank God the AC the AC worked
Oh, what?
when I was watching it. Yeah, and thank God we didn't get to
Good.
we weren't you know, escorted out of the theater. But something that I noticed is that Angel Studios, they are growing and they're blossoming right now with their independent films. And what I'm noticing is that independent filmmakers and independent even musicians and creators and tastemakers, like we're coming into our prime. And I'm saying we because I'm included in this whole in this movement as well. But I just noticed, especially during the previews before the movie, that it's a new era that we're coming into, and that Hollywood is crumbling.
Yes. It's a new area, new era. Everything's going to crumble and everything's going to be rebuilt. There's going to be a new, you know, Hollywood, so to speak, that you're a part of. Things are going to return back to order. The inversion. We're living in bizarro world right now. Everything's upside down. Left is right, right is
Yeah.
left, good is bad, bad is good. Everything's going to be flipped back. Everything is flipping back. You can see it flipping back. So yeah, you are part of the new. They got to come up with a new word for Hollywood, right? That word. I'm not even going to go there unless you want to talk about that. But yeah, that's exactly what's
uh,
going on.
Hollywood.
Hollywood, Hollywood, but not just with
Well,
what you're doing. What everybody's doing, like whatever sector they're in, it's going to be flipped back. Everything, the hospitals, all these. There's going to be a day when these hospitals aren't even around. Or maybe they are. Maybe they are for the people that want the hospitals. You know, we see things are kind of splitting, right? Two different realities existing together. And if you want that old sick life of hospitals and medication and bullshit, you can be a part of that, or you can ascend and heal and move into this version of reality, the one that I live in, the one that you live in, right?
yeah.
That's how it works.
Well, and I was going to bring this up earlier, but I when I went to Lynn University right after high school, I, woo, frog in my throat. I
Uh-oh.
degree in communications and international business, and I had a lot of broadcast journalism courses and courses in persuasion and propaganda. And so I learned a lot of the tricks of the trade that the media uses to purport a narrative, and the kinds of graphics that they use and the kinds of colors that they use. And we even went into some of the the posters, and even when it came time for people of color, the media the media would lighten their skin tone, and I'm like, why? Like, that's who they are. Don't Photoshop them unless they have like a giant zit on their face. But that's how they are. So it was just it was just galling to witness this. But at that time I was just like taking all this in, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. But now in these times, a lot of what I learned and picked up on, it's it's become more prevalent.
Oh yeah, they play on your emotions. I remembered with the early days of the coronavirus, they would mention how many people were killed. They use the word killed, instead of
Mm,
die, right? Kill, like you can just
yeah.
feel that word. Kill is like, oh, fuck, kill. And you could just see the words that they were choosing. They choose the words, everything. It's a spell. Everything that comes out of the TV set is a spell. It's a dark magic shit spell.
and that's why TV programs, like the channels, are called programs for a reason.
Programs, programs,
Yeah.
channel, broadcast. It's a
Mhm.
broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, programs. What's the other one? There's one other one too with all that. So
Um
good. They tell you in
well
the word.
well one video that you put out, I think, was it yesterday? You broke down the word government.
Yeah, government, mind
So
control.
so tell so
Yeah.
tell us about that.
So the word govern means to control. The word ment, the root word ment, ment, means mind, right? Mental, demented. So you put the words together and it's control mind, mind control. That's what government literally means. Changes everything, right?
It sure does.
The, the entire English language was created for this agenda. That's right. The entire English language is satanic. It was created to keep us empowered and to affirm what we don't want. It's been bastardized, the whole thing. Good morning, morning, hello, hell, all these words. There's a whole list of them. I was just looking at it yesterday too. But it's
like
every,
like people need to like get their scuba gear on, because like when talking with you, like you go really deep. Like
I like,
you go, and it's like I don't like the level with you. It's like here's like scuba divers. Here's the Titanic, and then here's Tom, like right there.
I'm past the Titanic. How about all that too? We don't need to get into that. How about all that BS with that submarine? But yeah, I
Oh,
appreciate.
oh, yeah. Yeah. I think James Cameron is like, oh, maybe I might do a Titanic too. Um,
Yeah, he's getting
I'm like,
tuned
what is
up.
it going to be? Be like, are you going to rise the Titanic up, or is it going to be like a haunted mansion version of Titanic, where it's just like the ghosts,
Yeah,
and they're haunting whatever, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. I don't know, but
yeah. Whatever it is, it's going to be a mess coming to theaters near you. But
something totally unrelated to what we're talking about, but kind of related to is during the previews, they were previewing the Haunted Mansion movie that's coming out by
Uh,
um, I think by like I don't know, like fall, but Disney is doing another Haunted Mansion. And I'm like, didn't they already do that with Eddie Murphy and Raven Simone or something like that? So I'm like, where's the originality? Like, why are you recycling? Like
they're sitting on.
recycling is good for the environment, but it's not good for creativity.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're sitting on the good stuff. They're buying the movies, the scripts, the playwrights to the movies that should be made, and they're burying them. They're sitting on them and they're burying them on purpose. Those are not the movies they're looking to make. The movies they're looking to make, they're strictly looking to poison you and to program you, which is why they keep recycling because all the creativity is being buried. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's nuts. They're just going to do reboots and all these Marvels, and now there's 17 Supermans and 14 Batmans, and there's all kinds of Star Wars now. It's not just the regular Star Wars. There's Star Wars out the ass. You
I
know,
know. It's like
over.
who's the real Slim Shady? Can the real Slim Shady please stand up? Like,
Yeah, right.
um,
Exactly. Well, maybe once this new the new era is created here, some of these stories can get back out and get made. The real stories, the real movies that need to get made, the ones that inspire people, ones that empower people.
well, and what's interesting is that you know, living in Los Angeles, I see a lot of the writer's strike movement happening. Like they're marching on the streets with the sticks and the signs. But yeah, like and things are on pause. Like I know a lot of the night shows, like the night talk show hosts, like I think Kimmel, James Corden, he's done. But other late night talk show hosts, like they've been on pause because of this writer's strike, and it's due to artificial intelligence, and it's mostly due to like this new app like Chat GTP or whatever it's called, um, and also from cherry picking because no one because originality is like suffering right now in the industry. So when independent filmmakers do come up with original ideas, these Hollywood writers are like, oh, let me just pick that off of you. So that's what's happening. But also, I know that we had this conversation, and that the writer's strike is code for Hollywood cleanup.
For what?
Hollywood cleanup.
Hollywood cleanup. Yeah, I was going to say, like when you start saying all that, I was going to say, how do you know it's because they all have been arrested? They're all gone,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know how far you want me to go into that, but yeah, Hollywood cleanup. Things are being cleaned up um, in many ways. I believe. I think things are
yeah.
being cleaned up or
And
have
and I,
been.
and I think on either side of the spectrum, like everyone can agree because I've had conversations with producers that are on both the right and the left side, and they're both like something needs to change here. Like there needs to, like something doesn't feel right. It just seems like I don't know this whole like celebrity mentality, this whole like you know Kardashian mentality. I think that's
Right.
played that's yeah that's played a variable and a factor into why the entertainment industry is not as like glamorous and not as glamorous and well accoladed as it once was. Um, but
Dumbed
yeah,
down,
I
right?
think
Everything
from
has been dumbed down.
yeah, like there's no like echelon or there's no what's the word? There's yeah, there's just like no excellence. But with this new independent filmmaker and independent creative movement, that's going to change. That's going to move the needle.
A
And
return to excellence.
yeah, and
I like
return
that.
back to that. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Everything needs
well,
to return back to excellence. I like that.
it does not to perfection, and that's the thing. It's like they want to create this perfect world. Like everything needs to be perfect, and you need to believe this and believe that in order to be perfect. But that's collectivism,
Yeah.
and
You,
collectivism just doesn't work because it puts people in a box.
you know what perfect is? It's fake.
Yeah,
Perfect, fake. And they're creating this fakeness, right? And you see it. Everybody's the people are fake. The society's fake. Everything's fake. It's fake. We need some substance again. We need a return to substance, a return to realness. A return to realness is what we need. People are tired of this fake shit. They're
yeah,
over it. They're over it. They want some realness. People tell me all the time, "Thank God you're real. Thank God you're speaking unfiltered." People need unfiltered. People need raw. People need real. Perfect is fake. It's fake. There's no such thing, really.
yeah. And I've always said like don't create out of fear, because when you create, you want people, you want to take people to a place, and to a place that they can conquer, that they feel like they can conquer. So if you're creating out of fear, then it's counterproductive. So when you create, you need to be fearless, and you need to break boundaries. And I even said this on one of my Facebook or social media posts the other day about and just like that, the Sex and the City reboot. The reason why it's kind of like falling flat is because it's keeping within the woke box. And I think that's why they're bringing Samantha Jones back, Kim Cattrall, because she was like daring. It's like she gave zero fucks. And
They're bringing her back.
yeah, they're bringing her back because I think now it's only going to be for like a little bit of a cameo, but that could lead into more screen time because they're going to see the value that her non PC character can bring to to the show, and it not could, it will elevate
Absolutely. Yeah. No
it.
one wants to see PC, right? So what? Now, Sex in the City, you're telling me the reboot is four women talking prim and proper? Is that what you're telling me? Right? Nah, that doesn't work. We're tired of prim and proper.
Yeah, like it used to have like this like colorfulness, and it used to be like New York City and these women, and they're just like frolicking and using New York City as their playground. And now it's become like this like flat kind of surface.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, we want to see hills. We want to see like the juice. Um, but yeah, well, and back to like the sound of freedom, and thank God that like the AC worked. But thank God I got a sunburn yesterday, so I didn't really know if the AC was working or not because it was running up so much. But yeah, speaking of sunburn and everything, I was getting my source of vitamin D, which is from the
nice.
sun, and I know that you've talked very outspokenly about how some of the health misconceptions that are out there, and so can you fill us in on that?
Yeah, like I said, we've been lied to about everything, including the health, specifically the health stuff, right? We were told back in the day that uh, cholesterol was bad, right? High cholesterol was bad. That's not the truth. Low cholesterol is real bad. Low cholesterol is way worse than high cholesterol. What else? The sun, right? The sun. There's this, they have everybody afraid of the sun. They're afraid of the sun. The sun is literally the healthiest thing that exists in this universe for us is the sun. And they've demonized the sun. Be afraid of it. Oh, don't go out there. Oh, if you go out there, put this stuff on. Put these lotions on. These lotions that are horrible for you, right? These mainstream lotions like Coppertone and all this stuff. Disgusting. So all these chemicals now are leaching into your body. Not only are they leaching, but you're getting fried. They're getting like cooked into you. It's insane, right? So yeah, go ahead.
Now, What would you say? Because I'm playing, ghouls advocate right now. But what would you say to someone who would push back on that and say, well, I've had, skin cancer runs in my family and melanoma and all that. So what would you say to that?
Well, here's what I say to that. So one thing I learned from being in Pittsburgh is that areas like Pittsburgh that are very cloudy. Pittsburgh is like it's like Forks, Washington. If you're a vampire, this is where you would live. That is how little sun there is in Pittsburgh. So I noticed that all the places that had the most skin cancer were also the areas that had the least amount of sun. And that didn't make sense, right? That doesn't make sense. These people should be protected, right? But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. And the problem is these people are prone to skin cancer because they don't have sun and they're not happy, right? It's for real. I lived up there. I was very unhappy. Everybody's, for the most part, is really unhappy up there. Um, they're going to hate me saying this, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And I learned that when I came to Florida and I saw how happy everyone down here is. A bunch of happy fuckers running around this place down here. And I'll tell you what, it has made all the difference for me. Just getting into sun has changed everything for me. Everything. I don't know if I
Yeah, and
answered your
just
question though.
no, no, because it's all about like what you put out there. And the sun can definitely elevate your mood. That's why like I go for walks and I go for hikes, and that's one of the reasons why like I moved out here is to have more of that. Um, but and
Vitamin D.
also vitamin D.
Vitamin D is very
Um,
important for everything.
it's very important. Since we have like, 2 minutes left, I want to get your fluoride theory.
Fluoride, it's poison.
Yeah.
Why do you need
Yeah.
it in your mouth? It's another lie. They told us we need that for cavity. That's ridiculous. I stopped using fluoride 15 years ago. I haven't had any cavities. I used to have them all the time when I was a kid. All right. So I don't want to hear about that. That's a lie, right? And they put it in our water. The tap water you drink is disgusting. It's disgusting. You need a very powerful filter. A Brita does not cut it. You need like a reverse osmosis. You need something high tech, even Kangen, whatever. But the water's poison. Fluoride's poison. You don't need it. It decalcifies the pineal gland, which is your third eye, which prevents you from seeing, right? You see with these two
Yeah.
eyes, but you really see with this eye. So that's what it's all
Yeah.
about.
It's all about the third eye, and
Right.
that's and just in the spirit of the awakening and coming into, because the thing is that people don't like change, but they do like growth. And
Yeah.
and those things really don't need to be, liaisoned or paired up or associated with each other. Because growth is one thing, change is another. But what you do and hopefully what I do offers growth. So, um, so that's why you're here on this planet, and that's why people like us and everyone else, because they haven't tapped into that yet. They have the power to generate growth as well. So
That's right. We know our purpose here, and we're doing it. It took me a long time to figure out my purpose. It took me a long time, but I figured it out. And once you figure it out, it makes all the difference in the world. You know, bring me back sometime. We'll talk about the third eye. We'll talk about all kind of stuff.
we'll talk about that.
I feel like we really have
Tom,
time.
yeah, we had a great time. We need like 2 more hours. Um,
We'll do it.
we'll
We'll do it. We'll
negotiate
do
with
part
the
two.
in this. Um, but yeah, thanks, Tom. We will. I'll have you back on, and yeah, let's have people tap into their power, and then
That's right.
that's when growth happens. So, without further ado, thanks everyone for tuning into Kendra Live. We will be back next Thursday, July 20th, with an all new guest. We'll do part two with Tom some other time. But thank you all so much. Follow me on socials at Instagram at Kendra Erica, Facebook at Kendra Erica Music, and just keep up to date with what I have coming out. And I have a new single dropping, Have My Way With You, July 28th. Stay tuned for that. And stay golden, stay awakened, and stay great. All right. Bye, everyone.
When you lay me down, I love the way you watch me. When I make that sound, all these possibilities.